Mr.
Bond.
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 Bond. James Bond.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome back to another edition of the Ultimate Bondcast. As ever, you are here with Mike and Chris. How are we, Chris? How are we doing?
Oh, mate, really good. I'm excited for this one. I think we've said offline that it feels like it's been ages since we've done a Bond cast of any kind. Like, it just feels like it's gone on forever. So I'm really looking forward to this, dude.
It does feel like it's been some time, doesn't it? Because obviously, if you guys have been keeping an eye on it, we've been sort of disrupted by the World Cup to our own fate, really. But yes, you are back with a very, very special edition today. What we are going to be doing a little bit later on is looking at the Roger Moore countdown. So if you've been following the Bondcast, you'll realise that we've watched all 7 of the Roger Moore films alongside our canonical run-through. We're now going to rate them, and we're going to do it very cleverly, Chris. We've got a bit of a spin, haven't we? So we're going to look at my personal ranking, your personal ranking, and then we're going to look at a Facebook poll. So you guys, very nicely, if you've been looking at our Facebook page, have been voting which order your Bond movies appear in now for the Roger Moore series. So, and there's one more twist at the end that we'll reveal when we get to that point. So there's quite a lot going on. And it's, of course, it's a very interactive show. So jump on the comments, talk to us as you go along, because we would frankly just love to hear from you. We're very lonely, aren't we, Chris?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm cripplingly lonely, so it's just nice to virtually talk to somebody once a week. But yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you to everyone that voted in the poll. It's great just to have like audience interaction, and this is your list. You know, you've built a list as well as us, so I'm looking forward to seeing how theirs match up to ours.
It is. We'll find out how it matches up. Before though, we'll jump into a bit of Bond news.
Great.
Oh, and here we are in the studio. Wonderful. Good evening, Lorenzo. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you. But I will tell you now, this is not going to be the longest section of Bond news because there's actually a bit of like a media blackout at the moment. They are recruiting for a Bond. All the auditions are happening. But for that reason, they're not really telling people a lot, are they? I don't think you're keeping on the news at all, Chris. It seems really strange at the moment.
Yeah, well, what you've also got to realise is like we've had such a big push with the video game that maybe it's just a bit of a lull. It's fine.
Could be.
We've got to make our own news, mate. We've got to make our own news.
Well, first article is actually the one that we just mentioned. So we can see here that the search for the actor is underway, and as of August, which is only a week away or thereabouts anyway, at that point we will have the second stage auditions happening. So they'll be letting the contenders know who's passed, and they reckon between 5 and 7 running actors are currently in that second stage process.
That's
so
cool.
They're being kind, aren't they? They're being cautious. They're not just jumping into this head first. So I don't know. I'm not going to slag them for it. I'd rather they get this right. I really would hate the fact we get like a 10-run film of somebody that's just not appropriate for Bond. So
that's very true. Yeah, I've got no issue with it. I think it's a good idea. I just want them to get it right. So I'm happy for them to take as long as they need to. There's plenty of time before the movie comes out. And hello to Lorenzo who's in the chat as well. It's good to have you here, Lorenzo.
Hello, Lorenzo.
Make sure you give us your list, Lorenzo, as we go down. I want your views. Where we got it wrong, please tell us.
Because inevitably we have. We're not.
Yeah, I definitely have. I'm gonna make everybody quite hostile towards me, I think, at some point tonight.
Well, in the last article we got, which is a very, very short segment this week, I just want to wish Pierce Brosnan happy birthday. So it's not his birthday today, but he was 73 years old while we've been off the air. So I'd just like to say a belated happy birthday to Pierce Brosnan. 73, that man does not look, right?
Oh no, age is like a fine wine. I hope I look half that good when I'm 73. Perfect age to come back into the Bond fold as well, wouldn't you say?
Oh, are we hinting at something? I love the idea of an old man Bond.
Too.
No, it doesn't need to be canon. It could be a one-off, couldn't it? But that would be fantastic. So yeah, Mr. Brosnan, belated happy birthday from the Ultimate Bondcast, and I'm sure you're watching. Not.
You're my favourite Bond, Pierce. So please come on the show.
But that, my friends, all this is all we've got for Bond news. Oh, here we are. Right, so we need to go tense now, Chris, because this is a big moment now, isn't it? So
we revert to my usual rubbish PowerPoint presentation now.
Oh,
it's a year old, I'd say.
We don't spare any expense on our presentations, do we? Really? You know, unfortunately, we're not a big budget channel. We do what we do. We do what we do, but that is part of our charm.
This is state of the art. This is, mate. This is Windows, whatever it is, Windows XP. I don't know.
At least you didn't say 90. At least you didn't say 95 or 97. That could have been a lot worse. You know,
MS DOS. This is.
So yeah, the Roger Moore rankings. So just to reiterate, we're going to look at my ranking, Chris's ranking, your personal ranking is a public poll, and then towards the end, what we're going to do is we actually have been ranking our Bond movies as we review them one by one. We're going to look at how they fare up against our actual scores that we've been doing quite ad lib, just to see how terrible or how far away we are, really. So it's going to be good fun, but of course, contribute to the chat, talk to us what's going on. Chris, talk to me about the Roger Moore series as far as what your thoughts are, how it's made you feel now we've had a chance to revisit the series, first of all.
Oh, mate, this is so bittersweet because I've had so much fun running through these 7 Roger Moore Bond movies, and it's the end of an era, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's obviously we've got good things to come, but we'll talk about those another time. This isn't the time for that. Like, it's so sad that we've come to the end of Roger Moore's tenure. We can watch them again, obviously, but you know, it's been a real adventure, hasn't it? I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I can't wait to talk about these. They're all good in their own way as well. Like, I don't want to be hard on any of these movies. I enjoyed watching all 7.
I can honestly say, and if you asked me sort of, at the end of last year, I probably would have said something very different, but I have completely and utterly loved rewatching this era, and I've definitely found a newfound love for the Roger Moore era that I never really felt before. There was a couple of movies I thought were quite good, but there was others that I kind of wrote off, thinking, oh, it's weak, it's campy, but really they're not. That's the honest answer.
Yeah, it's tough. I agree with you that there was a little bit of trepidation coming into watching Roger Moore, or at least like a little bit of like apathy towards it, and that needs investigating, because why was it that we both felt that way? I feel like maybe I don't know if it's like the Daniel Craig effect, but there's definitely there's been this need to like make Bond gritty and real, and maybe we got caught up in that a little bit, or maybe I don't want to speak for you, but like, I don't know.
No, I don't think that's unreasonable, to be honest with you, because let's face it, even though we are saying that the Roger Moore movies weren't that bad at all, they are nowhere near the Daniel Craig or the Dalton tone, are they? There's a world apart from those, but it doesn't detract the fact that they've been incredibly enjoyable to watch. So, shall we bring up your PowerPoint then, Chris?
Yeah, let's
have a little look at this one. Unfortunately, guys, we'll have to put your comments down just to make it accommodatable. Doesn't mean you don't stop talking to us. We will flash up the screen, and
I think once we've done like 6 and 7, I reckon throw the comments back up, because they'll be able to see, what's behind it anyway, can't they? Do you know what I mean? Like, we can
completely. You can through the power of sheer deduction, isn't it? Although this feels a bit Eurovision, doesn't it, really, at times?
Well, speaking of Eurovision, shall we see which movie got nil point?
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be a lot of guesses here, is there, really? I don't think, personally. But let's have a look at, the final, the bottom place, if you like.
Yeah, let's go through it. So, 7th place for both of us.
I haven't seen these, by the way. Chris has made this. I haven't seen it at all.
You haven't seen my score, have you? So there you go. There are our 7th picks.
So I and the public jointly went for Moonraker in the bottom place.
Yeah.
You controversially went for The Man with the Golden Gun.
Well, you say controversially, mate. Why controversially? Because it's the lowest rated Bond movie for both of us.
True. I mean, I tell you what, I'm gonna push it gently back to you initially because I've got the majority, if you like, with the public.
You've got the majority. You've got the 2-1. You just said controversial, so I thought you had views, mate.
You go first. Explain to me about The Man with the Golden Gun, as far as you're concerned.
Okay, so we're talking about like how they rank. So I'm going to preface this with like what everybody would always say, like one of them's got to come last, you know.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
It doesn't mean that I dislike The Man with the Golden Gun. What I would say against The Man with the Golden Gun is I just found it a bit boring. I think, and you probably have similar thoughts, I hope, but like. I enjoy the movie. Christopher Lee is the best part of this movie. Like as Scaramanga, I think he's excellent. They just woefully underutilize Scaramanga in this film. I don't think there's a lot to it. I don't think the ending is particularly exciting. The film feels really uneven. I think Sheriff J.W. Pepper is really poorly shoehorned into the movie. It doesn't feel natural in the same way as it does in Live and Let Die. And I think that car jump with that slide noise, one of the best stunts in movie history, and it's kind of spoiled.
It's up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's spoiled by a silly sound effect. So they're the things that put it last for me. I still have a lot of good to say about the movie, but hopefully when you talk about The Man with the Golden Gun, you've got it lower, fingers crossed, and maybe you can make me feel less guilty about it. But yeah, that's kind of where I feel. That's how I feel about The Man with the Golden Gun. What about you with Moonraker then?
Right. Okay. It's interesting because I mean, with Moonraker, so it's not far off the reasons you've given, but for a different film.
Okay.
So I feel like with Moonraker, the thing is, right, it was kind of disadvantaged, shall we say, because it followed such a great Bond movie, in my opinion, of A Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah.
And this was sort of like the unworthy sequel to The Spy Who Loved Me. The fact we had Jaws back, and a lot of the themes felt a little bit recycled. You know, Stromberg with the water, Drax with space, and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like a recycled sequel in a way. But what I don't the reason why Moonraker's down the bottom, it's not a terrible film. It's not. Dare I say it, diamonds are forever, you know, with my love for that film. But what it does do for me is the pacing's off. It's really quite slow. It's quite dull. I don't like the Bond theme, the Shirley Bassey theme. I don't like the actual rendition of the Bond theme either. It's a little bit too light for me, in my opinion. The one that followed this, For Your Eyes Only, that dum 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 dum, that was much better. I liked it. It's quite dramatic. Even what we can hear right now with A View to a Kill, that was quite dramatic, you know. But this had no danger, no edge, because for how high stakes the film should have been, never hit the mark. A lot of green screen, you know, and they were naturally trying to compete with Star Wars at the time. They used it as something, tried to put it forward. The fact they abandoned the formula for the next one straight away tells you they didn't have faith in that film. And I don't think Bond's ever had a U-turn up at this point in the saga until what happened with Moonraker. So I just think it's not terrible, but as you said, something has to go last. So I'm putting it down there. Really,
and
you know,
it looks as though the public agree with you as well, mate. So
only 2% of the vote. That's an incredibly low score. Not just nil pro. That's really low, isn't it? You know, so
2%. You know, yeah, it's not great. It's not a great score. Not a great score. Does not bode well for my list
because we're in the low segment right now. Let's have a quick stab at 6. Let's see what's in position for 6 and see if we stand on that one.
6, mate. Number 6. Okay. So we do see that Man with the Golden Gun is sort of sitting around the bottom for you two. I've gone with Octopussy, and we've all gone for different movies. The public,
There's no
it's not
synergy
like A
there.
View to a Kill. No synergy at all. No, we're all on even playing fields now, mate.
I will say, so in your defence, Chris, obviously you said hopefully the Man with the Golden Gun is down the bottom somewhere. For you, yes, it is. It's down the bottom for me, near enough. I'll talk about it first because we've only just gone through it with you.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But the Man with the Golden Gun. For the reason why, for me, it tops Moonraker ever so slightly. It's not a massive wedge either, if I'm being honest with you.
No.
I feel like
None of these are.
one thing about it. Now, I'm quite particular. I mentioned about the Bond rendition. Now, this one felt quite good. It's quite springy, quite nice, quite happy. I think that's the thing. That's what I've always liked about it. I think the title song is a lot better with Lulu as well than the Moonraker's tune. There's some good fight sequences. I like the fight in the back of the club when he's trying to get the bullet out of the woman's belly, which is quite good. From there was the Bruce Lee knockoff, if you like, fighting with in the Kung Fu dojo. That was quite cool. So I just think it has some fun moments to it. The thing that made it weaker for me, the reason why it's not up the other end of the scale, is because the downside to that film is the fact that Christopher Lee was such a good choice of a Bond villain, but they underused the value and the story so much. They could have done so much more with the story rather than it being about a solar war, for power and stuff like that. That was a really wishy-washy for me personally. And the fact that they went away from ideas like that in the future, like it was about looking at madmen taking over the world and all that sort of stuff. That was a proof that for me that they didn't want to go too low key again. That was just nothing for me personally. But there's some good moments. There were some good moments in the Man with the Golden Gun. Just to be honest with you, to hit number 6 is exactly where it should be for me, really.
And I think Guy Hamilton directed this movie, and we both said at the time that Guy Hamilton had this like up and down Bond record where he had an incredible movie with Goldfinger, then a lesser movie with Diamonds Are Forever, then an incredible movie with Live and Let Die, and then downhill again with
that was a Roger Moore trend, wasn't it?
A little bit, yeah. It is a bit of it. I think it is with a lot of the Bonds. You'll find like they do tend to ebb and flow a bit, don't they?
Not down to Roger Moore, just to make that clear. I'm not saying down to Roger Moore, but in terms of the back end team and stuff like that, and the directing team, that tends to be they do one, they miss the mark, they do one, miss the mark, and so on, a little bit. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, I think so. It's it's got some interesting thoughts in it, and some cool iconic shots, and the Golden Gun itself will live forever with Bond, but it's just not up there for me. I'm glad you've got it low.
Yeah, I mean, it was never going to be top tier for me. I'm sure some people out there love it, and the public clearly don't like. I've got a different view on that film, so maybe that will come up a little bit later on. What we'll do then, Chris, we'll park A View to a Kill because obviously that's not on our.
Yeah, we're going to discuss View to a Kill when we talk about it. I think.
Talk to me about Octopussy, though. That's an interesting choice that you've put it at number 6. So, talk to me why that's your decision on this basis.
Yeah, I mean, Octopussy, it's out of all of Roger Moore's movies, it's the most like cookie cutter Bond. Take the Bond formula and make the most. I don't know how to say it, but like the most bland Bond movie out of I don't know,
a bit meh,
but like it's a bit like I would say the same thing about Thunderball and You Only Live Twice. They're not bad movies by any stretch, but like they follow that formula to a T and they're fine and they do their job and great. I enjoy them. But there's not with Octopussy. Like I said to you when we did the review, this movie was probably the movie that I saw a lot as a kid. I remembered, without really knowing Bond, I remembered seeing a man as a clown, and I remembered there being elephants. Do you know? And I remember him having that moment with the gun maker and pointing the gun at him, like little things like that when I was a kid that stuck with me as Bond. But when rewatching it again, like I say, there's some good moments in the movie. The train sequence is great. The auction scene with the Fabergé egg is brilliant. I think Kamal Khan is all right as a villain. I think there's a lot of mid villains in Roger Moore's like pantheon of villains. There's some good ones, but there's a couple that are just like and maybe this is just the most movie for me out of the lot.
I wonder where that's going to appear in the public poll and me, obviously, because that's an interesting take. I mean, I'm going to say nothing about Octopussy because I'll wait for it to come back up on, obviously, on my call for you. But what I will say is, I think your points are very, very fair and very valid. To be honest, on that basis, there. Yeah. But it's Roger Moore does have enjoyable films, but I admit there are a couple of inches where they're a bit. Don't really hit the mark for you as an individual, you know.
But I would say the lows are nowhere near as low as Sean Connery's lows.
Yeah. I think they learn from the sort of like pacing of the early Connery movies and move it into a better place for Roger Moore. You're bound to,
that's it with Octopussy. It's not a bad movie. Like if you're ranking all 25 Bond movies, this is just one of those movies that you know is going to be fighting between 13th and 20th. You know it's not the worst.
Yeah.
You know it's not your top 10, but it's somewhere in that powder keg of like the bottom half, and that's just where a lot of films somehow they just sit because it's fine. It's a fine movie.
Yeah, and look again, I'll keep it to one side because it's inevitably going to turn up a little bit later on. That'll be interesting. On the base, Chris, let's bring up position 5. Let's see what happens.
Are you ready? Right. Okay. So
I am ready.
To preface this is where I lose the room. Okay, this is where all goes downhill.
What have you? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So let's avoid the elephant for a second and just address the less explosive points. So, Octopussy, okay, fairly similar. We've been pretty even with Man with the Golden Gun and Octopussy, and the audience has also got the Man with the Golden Gun towards the bottom. But
that is odd. Yeah, like you said, so the Man with the Golden Gun's come back again. So that's off the board now. That's good. 10% vote as well for the public from that one there. And yeah, I'm going to start. I'll go with Octopussy because you've just had your views.
Please go with Octopussy first. Give me a minute to compose myself.
I'm just trying to not get some rotten fruit and throw it at you, if I'm being honest, some manky veg or something. Yeah, that has shocked me, Chris, if I'm being honest.
I will say my piece in a minute.
Okay, Octopussy. Right, listen, again, this is, for me, it's not so much a meh film or a mediocre film. There are some really good. There are some extremely good moments in it. You've got the Q jet, for example, at the beginning. You've got the the sort of like gondola sequence, the crocodile, not the gondola. What about it's a tuk-tuk? It's a little taxi thing in India. You got the car fight on that one. There's a fight where I think Kamal's guys try and come and kill him and Octopussy, and they've got the spinning blade thing, which I think was a very well choreographed fight. The airplane sequence at the end. There is some really good action sequences in it. I will say that in its defence, and the story was a little bit weird, if I'm being honest with you. It's very Cold War-y. But the downside it had was the fact that it kind of loses the point of the plot as the movie goes on.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm putting it in this position, because it's nothing about Roger Moore. It's nothing about the action. I think the train sequence today still gives me a heart rush.
The train sequence is amazing, isn't it?
It's absolutely phenomenal. That stacks up to modern standards, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah.
But the story, it tails so quickly, and you kind of losing the point of, what is it, Kamal? Is it Gogol? Is it Jebel Orlov? Is it, what's the deal here? I mean, originally Octopus was dubbed as the big bad at the beginning, weren't she? But she takes Bond in, so it just
you don't even see her for an hour.
Excuse me. Yeah, you don't. You're right. Yeah. You don't see a face for about 10 minutes at the beginning. So, I feel like that's where its weakness lies. It's not a bad film. I love it. In fact, one thing it could change, that bloody title sequence. What the hell was Rita Coolidge doing? You know?
Yeah.
It was definitely not an all-time high.
Yeah, but you know what? It has some all-time high moments and it has some all-time low moments as well. I'm glad your thoughts are not dissimilar to mine on this. That's good.
No, and it's
what I was being overly harsh. It's not a bad movie.
No, you're not. But what you are being harsh of is the next one that you're going to go through. So what the hell? You can probably gather where this is going to be quite high for me. So why 5?
I don't think we should talk about it, mate. I think we should just move on.
No, you're not getting off that easy. So go on, for your eyes only. What the hell, man?
I need to preface this by saying that films 3, 4, and 5 in my list, and I'm sure they are in your list as well. Like, some of these movies are so close that if you spoke to me on another day, I might have a different view. And I have gone, and we'll talk more about it when we get to number 3, and we can look back at all 3. But like, I've picked the movies that I'm more likely to go and rewatch. Mm-hmm. And now I am going to be a little bit harsh on For Your Eyes Only, because there are some bits that are great in this movie. But because I enjoy Moonraker, and I have to talk about Moonraker a little bit because it becomes before this one, I found like the speed and the direction of the course correct gave me whiplash. Like, it's so different in tone that actually that's not the type of movie I want to see Roger Moore in. The type of movie I want to see Roger Moore in are the ones that it course corrected from. And I think The Spy Who Loved Me, that we'll get onto later, is a far better example of how you use Roger Moore and use him to promote the find Your Eyes Only. And I appreciate he deliberately returns Bond to a more grounded, espionage-focused story after Moonraker, but it loses the fun that Roger Moore's era has. And aside from the mountain climbing sequence and the Citroen chase,
the CV2,
the CV2, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not moaning about this movie like it's a bad movie, but I've got to justify this more than any other. I think.
I think it's a low position in the Roger Moore pantheon.
Again, it's like, it's difficult. It's really difficult. There aren't that many other standout moments that stick in my memory. It's a solid movie, but I just don't revisit it as much as the others. Julian Glover, I think he's a great actor. I've met him. I think he's lovely. He's a capable villain. I don't think he's a memorable villain. We don't even know he's like part of the movie. I don't think he's particularly threatening or charismatic. Not like Zorin is. Not like Drax is. Not like Stromberg is. Not like Kananga is. So I just. Hi Neil, I'm sorry if I've scared you off with For Your Eyes Only being at number 5.
You wouldn't be the first, Neil.
But like, it's not a bad film. It's just a film has to come 5th. And as much as I enjoy the movie, which I do, and I gave it a good score, this is the biggest difference based on.
Can I just point out, this is getting quite worrying now. You're making these sort of calls, Chris. That's incredible.
Worrying?
So, yeah. So. Let's see how we go on. Okay.
All right. It is, mate.
Is so the fact that it has to be number 5, and you think there's probably better. That's the sort of.
I think Moonraker is a better movie than For Your Eyes Only. Yeah.
Controversial. Right, okay. On that basis, so we're at position 4 now. So let's go for the round. So the public have brought Octopussy up. So now Octopussy is off the board. We've seen the full lot on that one there. Moonraker. So I've done Moonraker. Chris, talk to me. Why is this a better movie than For Your Eyes Only?
Look, I think you're being incredibly harsh on me now. I don't.
You've been hard on yourself.
I'm going to talk about why I really enjoy Moonraker.
Go on.
Everyone's got different views on the films. Like, some people will say Skyfall's their favorite Bond film movie. Some people will put Skyfall as their least favorite Bond movie. It's really difficult. And like I say, on another day, it could have been number 3. It could have been number 3, but it isn't. Because I will rewatch Moonraker more. I think it's it's over the top escapism that defined the Moore era of movies. I find it so much fun. I think Hugo Drax is such a great, fun, wonderfully mental villain. I think the plot is not dumb. I think that because we don't go into, people think this is Bond, silly Bond in space. We're not in space until right at the end of the movie. There's some beautiful scenes. You've got that shot of Roger Moore by the telescope. The movie is beautiful. And I think the Jaws scenes, to some extent, some of them are better than Spy Love Me. Like the cable car scene is fantastic. Like it is peak Bond, the cable car sequence. There are some, that's why there are just some moments in this movie that are peak Bond, and that's why I love them. The idea of creating this great society in space, and the huge, like, Stromberg-esque layer that Drax has is wonderful. There's some great lines that Bond delivers at the end. I dislike the romance of Bond and the young lady that's there as well. I know that's a bit rubbish, but I just find I agree with you. The song's not great. There are a few of the songs not great. To be fair, I don't think For Your Eyes Only and Octopus is particularly good either. But yeah, it's over the top. It can be considered silly, but I think it's people that haven't watched it in years that just say it's silly when actually there's a lot of substance to this film.
Look, you are correct in saying that. Yeah, we're not in space until the last 10, 15 minutes of the movie, but I think everybody associates Moonraker with immediately, it was ray guns and all that sort of stuff. So I do agree with what you're saying.
So I think. I hope you agree with me. I think it's wrongly, people just write it off because they haven't seen it in 20 years.
I don't think I'd move it in my position ranking.
No, I'm not trying to make you move any of your moves.
But I do agree that there is some particularly good moments in that film, like the skydiving, the Q-boats, and that sort of creepiness to the film there was a bit of an edge. I mean, remember the girl got ripped apart by dogs? That was particularly dark. Something you wouldn't usually see. Neil just put up as well. He's not particularly a fan of Roger, but for him, For Your Eyes Only is a good movie, but would have been better with a new Bond actor.
It is a good movie.
That's not an unfair comment, actually, Neil. I think it's a case of Roger Moore hit a point in his career, didn't he, at the Bond, where there was going to be a choice of him going or staying. And I think at times decisions were made in the wrong place. Not necessarily sure about For Your Eyes Only, but there was a rumour that Pierce Brosnan would have succeeded straight after For Your Eyes Only, which never came to effect. So it's not unreasonable to think that Roger could have left at that point, and it wouldn't have been unheard of.
I think that was also the time, like, I know this is a very left field thing to say, but like, rest in peace, Sam Neill. Neill, was that the time that Sam Neill was tested for Bond during For Your Eyes Only? Because it was the Pierce Brosnan era. It was in the 80s, wasn't it?
It could have been, but it could have been the interim between Brosnan. I think it could have been between Moore and Dalton. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'll check that out.
We didn't say it before. Anyway, like, Sam Neill, what a loss.
Absolutely, and huge loss to the public and his fans and friends and family. He is definitely a could have been Bond. Let's put it that way. The public would have talked to him, I think, very quickly. More so, maybe than Dalton, if I'm being completely honest.
Maybe more.
He put more synergy between Connery and Moore. To sort of transition. Dalton was a massive jump for a lot of people.
There you go. Neil says Sam tested in 1986.
So he's just he was after Roger had left. Yeah, that makes sense now then. Right. So on that basis, I'm going to pick up with A View to a Kill because I've got it at number 4. Now, I will be honest with you, Chris. If you'd asked me over a year ago, A View to a Kill probably would have been down there with Moonraker for me. The reason why it's up there mid-ground now is because simply we saw it at the anniversary screening. And it was my first time, personally. Now, this probably won't be appreciated by everybody, but it's my first time seeing this movie in a crowd of people. simultaneously enjoying the moments, laughing at the moments, wowing at the music, and there is some really big sort of theme changes in this film. It starts off typical Roger Moore, light-hearted, and turns rather sinister and dark, and very treated very seriously, if you like. So you think about what we can see on the screen there, where he's trying to get the bomb out of there when Mayday teaming up with him, hanging from the blimp, trying to save Stacy. The massacre of Zorin's men in the mines of the water. There was some really, really, unforeseen moments, and I don't think I realised how dark they were until I saw them amongst other Bond fans who are reacting the same way as me. So this is sheerly because I've watched it again under completely different circumstances. A View to a Kill I've seen 1,000 times over, 1,000 times, but it is a better film than a lot of people give it credit for, in my opinion. Roger maybe shouldn't have been the Bond for the movie, and there's a good chance he wouldn't have been the Bond for the film. There was a draft wrote for Dalton, by the way. There was a possibility that a new Bond would have took this over, and so we came in a bit earlier. But I don't think it's bad. I love Duran Duran. I love the theme to this movie. It's brilliant. Probably one of the top 10 Bond themes, not Bond films, of course, but Bond themes. And you got Max Zorin. You got goddamn Christopher Walken as Bond villain. I mean, was he maybe underused and not given his full value? Probably. But I just love Christopher Walken as a guy. He's a cool guy. So just because it's fun to watch, personally, I don't think the pacing's terrible. That's what puts A View to a Kill mid-ground for me, really.
I know we'll get onto it soon, but I do echo those. I echo those thoughts. I think it's a far better movie than we give it credit for.
I think it definitely sets the tone is built by the circumstances, because you were with me as well. We saw this together, and it just changed my perception. And we only watched it a couple of weeks ago, obviously, as part of the review with License to Queer. I just feel like I've had a bit of light lifted on the movie, really.
Yeah, it's the View to a Kill assance that we've had.
Not enough to get it to the top 3, though. I will just point that out.
Well, I mean, let's move straight on, because that gives me the opportunity to talk about A View to a Kill.
Go for it. Because
that is my number 3, so it's only one place higher than you.
But we've also got Live and Let Die's popped up as well.
Yeah, Live and Let Die's popped up. I'm sure we'll want that. Let me
of
jump
course.
into A View to a Kill while we're on
Do your moment. Absolutely. Go on. A View to a Kill, Chris. Talk to us.
You obviously know that everything you've said is exactly how I feel in many respects, because I think we both felt similarly about the movie before we saw it in October at the Mockingbird Theatre in Birmingham. And much like with Moonraker and with Roger Moore in general, this needs to be studied. Why do so many Bond fans, or why do us, I'm speaking for Bond fans that I don't know and I shouldn't, but why did we both feel so negatively towards A View to a Kill, towards Moonraker, towards Roger Moore in general? Why had we written off 15 years worth, over a quarter, of all Bond movies, because we felt they were campy, because we felt they were silly, because it's crazy to me that I'd written off A View to a Kill because Bond was old, because maybe I didn't like his chemistry with Grace Jones or whatever. It's madness. Because when I watched it,
what I think it might be, Chris, why we wrote it off. I'm not just saying me and you as people. It's the perception. I think age is a big teacher of these films, and I think the other side to it is the fact that there's a perception of there's a better film, that sort of thing. Maybe wrongly placed. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like you watch this film when you're 10, you're gonna have a very different perception of what you see when you're 30.
Yeah, and that's fair. People do change, and when you're a kid, you do have different sensibilities. But actually, I would have thought I'd like this more as a kid than as an adult. But I forgot what I was going to say now. But like it's I've totally lost my train of thought now.
It is a fair outing for Roger Moore's Bond. But again, we're our results. If you look where we are, Chris, between me and you in particular, we're just
Most of the movies are
sidestepping
similar. Yeah,
a little
that's
bit. We're in
fine.
the same sort of region from there, really. And if you miraculously have done Live and Let Die above this one at second place or something, that would also prove the theory.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are fairly similar, and we in general we know which ones are the better Bond movies and the worst Bond movies. For Your Eyes Only is an exception to that. It's not it's not something we normally do. But like, yeah, View to a Kill, I agree. It was where we saw it. It was how we saw it that helped. But genuinely, if I'd have seen that just watching it on Blu-ray, I don't want to take anything away from the movie itself. I do think that the film still would have moved me more than I thought it would have. Like you say, Duran Duran's theme song is fantastic.
Gold tier. Gold tier.
And with a few Bond themes, not including the two that we're coming to, I really do think this is one of the best Bond themes. I think Max Zorin is fantastic. I think Mayday's great. All of the characters in it are great. Bond's having so much fun. He's too old. Probably shouldn't have been him. I agree with you on all of those points. That being said, it's very fun and very dark and just thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah,
and that's for Your Eyes Only, because this is what I wanted to say to you. Like, on a Sunday afternoon, which movie do I want to put on? And that's how I had to make the decision. I would rather watch.
What's your desire? Yeah,
I'd have more fun watching A View to a Kill and Moonraker than I would For Your Eyes Only, and that's all it is.
That's fair. I don't think that's a wrong perception. I kind of did the same way. Like, I've got my Blu-ray set, of the Bond films, and I'm thinking, I can flick through them all the time. Which one does my brain stop at? More than others. From that point of view. With that, I'll take you on to Live and Let Die, because Live and Let Die, I know when we did our review, when it was this year, we both love this film. Let's be honest. Live and Let Die is a fantastic film. There's not a tremendous amount of flaws with this film. The action's grounded. Roger Moore immediately is Bond. He doesn't take time to mellow into the role.
He's amazing.
He's just lying in bed with a woman, but he's Bond. So for me, that's sort of the starting point of, when you're young, because obviously I wasn't alive when this first come out, but you are just going. It's a tough
Neither of us
call.
were, by the way. Neither of us were.
Yeah, exactly. But the point I'll make is that
even if I look like I was.
When you're young, the whole Bond having a different face and different actors is a bit hard to stomach and get your head around it. But the great thing is you pick up on people that you really, really like in that role. And Roger's definitely one of those for me. I never rated all his films at a young age, but as an actor, as his version of Bond, he was by far the smoothest. He was the most charismatic out of all of the Bonds, I think, personally, from that perspective. The bits like the costume changes, you can see in the mid-screen there where he's wearing the black suit, it just flips it around to be a beige suit. I don't know, this guy breathes charisma. That's the way I look at it, really. And it was great to see him in different territory. We haven't really seen him on some tropical islands. It's Doctor No, with a lot less green screen involved, obviously, because it's a lot more budgeted. We saw Coral Jr., which was lovely. Felix Leiter was back for the first time. We haven't seen him since Diamonds Are Forever. Although he has. Oh shoot! It is, isn't it? My apologies. I was actually right.
We haven't seen him for a whole film.
You know what I do wrong? I put Diamonds Are Forever at the end of the Connery run, and then put on the
the same thing. Yeah. I get that.
Sorry, but chronologically, you're right. It was out of the way, but there's a better Felix Leiter as well, in my opinion, than what was in Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah.
I forget the guy that plays him in this movie, but he's definitely one of the stronger Felix actors, I think, personally. Obviously, they picked him up again in License to Kill, which is good, with Dalton. So there was first time, I think, until Daniel Craig, we actually had some continuity with Felix actors. It was always chopping and changing all the time, wasn't it? Really, different age groups, demographics, waistlines, you name it. Absolutely everything varied, and we're meant to sort of swallow it to the same guy every single time. I know we did that with Bond, but you don't expect it with the supporting cast, do you? You know.
No, you don't.
You know, Voodoo feels a good. Solitaire, Jane Seymour. Oh my God, what a beauty! What an absolute gorgeous, lovely woman as well. Not just beautiful. Her persona is well passed off in this film. The car chases are good. The boat chases are good. Sheriff J.W. Pepper was exactly where he should have been. He was in the right movie at the right time. Yes, you're right. The man with the golden gun, he was underplayed a little bit, but he was brilliant in this film. Also treading the line very carefully of being an inheritable racist, but unfortunately that was the time it was the film was made in. But yeah, such good fun. I love Live and Let Die, and I don't blame the public for bringing it up in third place, same as me, which was at 17% of the vote. Chris, would you believe? Still seems quite low, even though it's third place, though, don't you think?
Yeah. It's one of those movies where I know that I know what top three you've got, obviously, and I feel like you could pick any of those movies and put it at number one or number two or number three, and you wouldn't be able to argue with people over it. I'm glad that the public like it. I knew it wasn't going to be number one because the other two movies are the cool choice to put at number one, even though one of them should be number 5.
I like that, the cool choice. Yeah. It's I want to blend. I want to blend in. You know, that sort of thing.
I'm desperate to talk about the movie because you know how much I love Live and Let Die. But I'm going to save it until I get to it. Are you ready for number 2?
Right, but before you do, Chris, let's point something out here because yes, obviously, point 2 is going to come up. It's going to almost reveal the first place.
I will.
So we'll be very cautious with this. Really, I think we could afford to put them up, and then we can create some backtrack.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go. Let's bring
do
up the last 2
first,
spots,
and then I can do one as well, and then we can talk.
Yeah. Go for it. Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Oh, look at the consistency!
Wow. Right now. Can I just point something out here? This is really quite interesting. I always feel like The Spy Who Loved Me and The Few Eyes Only, within the public perception, they usually put them quite close together. Mainly 1, the Lotus, 2, the ski sequences, and they I know you've put it down, of course, but I believe they're one of the stronger Roger Moore performances. So I feel like that's why these films are quite closely twinned in a strange way.
Yeah, maybe says a little bit more for why I put For Your Eyes Only lower, because it does feel a little bit like repetition. But I like that we've got the same, mate. We're on the same wavelength. Unfortunately, the public has let us down.
They have, yeah. I mean, you more than me. I tell you what, let's do this side by side then. We're obviously on Spy Who Loved Me.
So, but do you want me to reveal the number ones now as well, or?
Yeah, it kind of makes we're gonna
talk about them next
anyway. Yeah, let's bring up the first place wins. Let's see what we've got here.
We knew what they were.
Okay, so this is still an interesting end result to these, really, isn't it? I want to just bring up Neil's put here as well. Sorry, Lights of You to a Kill song, but the movie's my least favourite, especially when Roger and even Moneypenny.
Moneypenny looks very old. In this,
Lorenzo's also intrigued by the list, which is quite good. So stay tuned for it, Lorenzo, because we will compare our movie ranking scores against these scores in a minute for you. Let's pick it up then. So second place, we're both in the same position, aren't we? Spy Who Loved Me.
What a film!
Brilliant film.
Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? We can move. We can talk in between, can't we? Because it's the same one.
You start. I will contribute. Go for it.
Okay. So. We said earlier that Live and Let Die, Roger Moore walks in on the first scene and is Bond, but The Spy Who Loved Me is where Moore's Bond hits his absolute peak. Like, he's the most confident, the most funny, the most heroic. He strikes the perfect balance between seriousness and humor. Like, I'm gonna go off on tangents, and I apologize.
No, go for it. Go for it.
There's the quintessential Bond moments in this movie. Jaws, even now, he was in 2 movies, and he is widely considered to be possibly the most iconic villain, but henchman especially, in the entire Bond franchise. His ability to make Bond feel very human in this film, very flawed. There is like a physical mismatch, isn't it?
That I can give you. Yeah,
I love that, and I just think that the Lotus Spirit submarine is incredible. Stromberg's Leia, like everything about this movie is just the best version of, it's the best version of a Bond car. It's the best version of a Bond set. I know I'm being hyperbolic. Like, I don't exactly mean the very best. We can obviously argue
but
that.
it is.
Do you know what I mean?
Look, they are the formula is the most strongest in these sort of areas.
Yes.
I do.
John Barry's
I get where
score
you're
is
going.
amazing. The theme song, Carly Simon, The Spy Loves Me, is unbelievable, and is probably still one of the most, if not other for Live and Let Die, maybe like easy, like for the public to digest as well. Like, you can hear it on a radio and anyone can play it, and it doesn't have to be prefaced as being a Bond theme. It's just a great song. It's just so much about this movie that I love, but I'll let you come in now.
So, look, everything you've said is brilliant. Before I will say my part, I'll just bring up Lorenzo's saying, in my opinion, Roger Moore, he got a great debut with Live and Let Die, but he does calls to him in his third movie, Being the Spy Who Loved Me, and that's the portrayal that got so right in that particular movie.
It's Moore's favourite, isn't it? Is it? Am I right in thinking that?
I think
Moore's favourite.
I haven't got a clue if it is actually, but I mean, it's definitely up there, isn't it? It's got to be up there for most people, I feel like.
And it is
so. Spy Who Loved Me was brilliant. You're right. The formula tweaks quite well. For example, Roger Moore gets his car right. We get his defined henchman. We get Jaws brought in, which is a god tier henchman by any standard, along there with Odd Job and stuff like that, isn't it, really? From there. So that's extremely memorable. I feel like the pre-title sequence, the ski sequence from the Russian guys chasing him and he kills Anya's lover in the process. Yeah. I feel like, I'm not going to put it as the best movie ever, but that is definitely one of the strongest pre-title sequences Bond has by far.
Possibly the best stunt in any Bond movie. Not even possibly. It feels like it really is. Like, I even
like the little backflip he does off the ice face and goes down and then goes off the edge. It's almost acrobatic, isn't it, this film? At the begining part of it. I think it's wonderful. And the music, Carly Simon, nobody does it better. The actual score, these sort of, I think they called it Bond 77. I think the music's called. It's so good. It's so damn good. And it does nothing more than raise my heart rate and my adrenaline when I'm watching The Spy Who Loved Me. So I feel like I have to put it there because there is no more less deserving place for me. Because if I had to put these side by side, Chris, For Your Eyes Only and Spy Who Loved Me would be neck and neck.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, and I feel like Spy Who Loved Me and Live and Let Die for me are like that. It's like you said about the pre-title sequence. Like, I know we say things are iconic, and we do use that term quite a bit, but I very specifically mean that shot of him and his parachute with the Union Jack. The iconography of that is Bond. Like, you could show anyone that still image of a man in a yellow suit with a Union Jack.
Where that's from.
Might not know the movie, but which character's that? And
that's Bond.
Everyone will be able to know. Do you know what I mean?
It's almost as iconic as a tuxedo, isn't it? A black and white tuxedo.
It's in front of a blackjack table or it's so iconic. It's difficult to put into words, just like how important that scene is for Bond.
I think I can tone it for you, right?
Yeah.
You cannot possibly express how much that movie means to you and how much enjoyment it gives you while you're watching it. There is not enough words to create the same feeling that you feel when you're watching it, because that's how I feel.
Yeah, you're right. At the end as well, Stromberg's underwater layer is just stunning to look at. You could just pause and spend ages looking at every inch of your TV screen and enjoying the little details.
The fact that the real Atlantis is like the size of his ankle as well. but done so well. The green screen is respectable in this film as well, isn't it? When it's used, you know it's being used, but you go, it looks really quite tidy, you know. And I think that's why it goes up to that direction for us, really. The interesting choice, right? So, if I can move you into the first place positions now, Chris,
Absolutely.
because we've got debate here, right? So, The Spy Who Loved Me is the public's view, way up there with 26%. Okay, we haven't, which is ironic, but you have got the last two films that the other person hasn't spoken about. So, would you like to tell me why Live and Let Die is top level for you, Chris?
In much the same way that For Your Eyes Only and The Spy Love Me are neck and neck for you, like I feel that way about Live and Let Die. So I have to separate it based on how it makes me feel. And this movie is the Bond movie that I watched easily the most as a child, and is the only Roger Moore movie when I was a kid or like growing up that I thought was worthy of like a rewatch. You know, we say like, oh, Roger Moore, blah 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 blah. But I mean, I love The Spy Love Me as well. But like, I'd written off their movies largely. But
we're not trying to influence you with the music, by the way. You know, I'm not doing like a subliminal message at you right now.
Nobody does do it better than me. So thank you for that. This should be my theme. I just like. There's so many moments in this movie that you said them all. And it was really difficult for me not to speak up. But Kananga is a fun villain, and he dies in a great way. Like, it's dead stupid. But Teehee is a great
what the hell was that skin he peels off him? It looks awful, doesn't it, though?
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Again, this movie, the iconography, like, people will see Baron Samedi, and they know what that is. And and it had a second life in 007 GoldenEye on the N64. Like
Nightfire as well.
Yeah, Nightfire as well. Yeah, to another extent. But like Baron Samedi's fun, and the sort of voodoo American angle of this movie is different, even though it's coming off another American movie. The J.W. Pepper is incredible in this film. Should have been in Diamonds Are Forever. Should have replaced the other policeman in Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that all the way. Yeah.
I'm going to say something as well that we've not said yet. Roger Moore is at his most handsome in this film. He is a specimen of a man in this movie. The view, all the great suits he wears. The bottom left, that black or dark blue turtleneck.
Yeah, which has now appeared in First Light as well.
Yes, but like with the gun strap, it's just incredible. And Solitaire. If Vesper Lynn didn't exist, Solitaire was always my favourite Bongo growing up. I had a huge crush on Jane Seymour. Like, she's beautiful. She's
How do you not?
Really
How do you not?
Well. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I think easily the most beautiful Bongo we've ever had.
Intriguing with the actual. Intriguing that she actually has got some level of a power as well.
Yes,
because
there is that.
Bond manipulates her, but she's proven to actually know things. You know, like
there's that throughout the movie, isn't there? Like, what is there with Baron Samedi as well? You know, there's that underlying like. Is there a basis for this voodoo being real? They don't address it. I'm glad they don't address it. But I do love that it leaves the audience to decide.
It lets you dabble, but it doesn't really give you any confirmation. You could just pass it off as it's like Bond says, it's cheap voodoo. It's just a ruse, if you like. That's quite nice, but you could believe if you wanted to.
Exactly. And as you said, he arrives first scene as Bond. He could easily have done the George Lazenby thing and compare himself to the first Bond and feel like he's in his shadow. But Roger Moore comes in and goes, I know who I am and I know who my Bond's going to be. And I'm incredibly confident.
I don't need to replay what's been done or whatever. That's probably what Lazenby's problem was. He did try and replay a bit of Connery and it wasn't going to land. But Moore went, I can't. He's into the movies. He's into the interviews. I can't do what Sean did. You know,
I can do stuff Sean couldn't. And I'm going to do them
exactly. And Neil's kind of agreed with that as well, Chris. But it's probably Roger's best movie, Live and Let Die. Second to For Your Eyes Only. The rest are just a bit silly, and it was a time that they were made in. Which is, they're fair points. Not always every movie, but I do agree there's some moments there. I'm gonna
crocodile scene as well. Can I just say the crocodile running scene is brilliant as well? Like what a great real stunt.
We actually watched the bloopers, didn't we? When we did this show, we had Mark from the MI6 Vault on, and we watched the bloopers around that live. It was brilliant. So I'm going to take to my top film, which is For Your Eyes Only. Now, this is a controversial subject because, just to clarify, you were at number 5 and I'm at number 1.
It is my number 5. It is my number 5 because I despise the movie, Mike. It's disgusting. It should be deleted from existence. No, it's a good movie. It didn't make my top. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Okay, so controversial to the moment, Chris. I'm going to say something that's actually really quite crucial here. Right? So, private music is going to follow as we're doing this. So, for me, For Your Eyes Only is the course correct that I wanted. I'm not very good on the outlandish stuff, hence why sort of my weaker films are like Die Another Day, Moonraker. They're sort of when they go a little bit too outlandish. I'm not good with that. I prefer the grit and the tone and the danger element of Bond. I'm a massive fan of the books. I like Dalton's portrayal. I like Craig's portrayal. Doesn't mean I don't like some of the funny bits. They're not a problem for me. But if you had to ask me like side by side, it's like saying, would you rather go to Costa's or Starbucks? Would you rather campy or would you rather the darker? I'd go darker. It's just my preference, the way I'm wired. And this really did it well. We saw the reference to Tracy. The Lotus had a moment where it came back, but it was took away from Bond, so it wasn't him relying on gadgets. We had the wonderful sequence on the skis where he's been chased by Henry Screes, I think his name was, and then we had the killing of Locke, which we all know is definitely one of Bond's darker moments. Even if you're not a Roger Moore fan, you're going to believe that that's definitely up there. We can see the short sequence there on the screen where him and Melina are being dragged along the water. That's done very, very carefully. And then the murder of her parents. It was a genuinely dark film, and that's why it piqued my interest. Kind of the opposite to you, because I know you like the more fun parts of Moonraker, but I really liked the danger element, and I don't think any other Roger Moore movie hit that tone to the extent that For Your Eyes Only did, strictly for me. And that's the one and only reason, Chris, I will put this in the first place position, because it is a fun film for me to watch, but I feel the danger while I'm watching it. I mean, when he falls from the cliff, you think, oh crap, it's amazing. It's done so well, even though there's stuntmen all over the film. But yeah, number position for me, Chris. Sorry to
So
your parade.
I need to clarify a few things here, because I think you were saying a few things about me when you were saying stuff about the movie. Because I put For Your Eyes Only at 5th does not mean I don't like the Bond books. It also does not mean that I don't like the dark and gritty Bond movies. I just think specifically For Your Eyes Only is a bit dull. So Neil totally agrees with you, so that's absolutely fine. I know I'm in the minority, but I love the Bond books and I love the darker Bond movies, and they're done well.
We will have to dig into
a bad film.
We'll dig into the Bond books on a further show. That could be another subject where we'll be focusing on.
And I think on our next couple of reviews, we're going to get to some of the darker Bond movies as well.
Yeah, now I think, if I'm not mistaken, Chris, we said at the end of the last movie, when we watched Roger Moore, we said the next 3 films are extremely good, aren't they? You know, The Living Daylights, License to Kill, and GoldenEye. They're all, I mean, maybe you could argue like people think it's a bit weaker, but I think all 3 of those films are wonderful. Really good.
I'd go as far as to say that the next 5 movies are all great.
Yeah, fair comment. Very much fair comment.
Especially the next, especially 1 and 3.
It's what we have got to do, Chris. Now, then, obviously, because we've done the countdown there, but what the guys who maybe haven't seen our podcasts in the past don't know is when we've done our movie reviews, we always give it a rating out of 10 at the end of that film, and it's interesting to see now where we stack up. So let's just give an idea. We won't go for the whole thing, but it's weird. It doesn't make it weird that I've chosen For Your Eyes Only as my today score, and The Spy Who Loved Me statistically the top end for me.
Yeah, I mean, like your
know?
movies, if you want to do them quick, like 1 to 5 are pretty similar. Like Spy Love Me and For Your Eyes Only. The only major difference is you thought Moonraker was a 7.2, 7.2, and still said so much negative about the movie and put it below Man with the Golden Gun. That's
Isn't
crazy.
it weird because we're watching it chronologically? It's the perspective
Yeah,
that film gives
exactly
you, and when we've ranked them, because we've got our table in front of us when we're ranking them, we kind of influence a little bit subliminally by the other scores on the screen. So it's weird.
I think this supports my argument. I'm not saying you should have had the same view, but like you thought Moonraker was a 7.2 at the time when you watched it. That's why I thought the course correct to For Your Eyes Only was so jarring, because when you watch Moonraker, you were like, oh, that was a lot of fun, and then all of a sudden,
wasn't
it's
that
so
bad?
different.
Yeah,
it's so different. That's why it felt weird for me.
That's why doing this sort of thing is really quite fascinating.
Yeah,
because
it
you
is.
quite deep into psychology of it from there. So
I mean, now you can see a list of movies that are completely different.
I am. Right.
I mean, Live and Let Die and Spy Love Me, that's fine. They're like fairly.
Well, they were 1 and 2, weren't they? 4, yeah. So that's good.
For Your Eyes Only, I did rate as an 8, and then dropped it from 3rd to 5th. But the two films below are 7 and a 7.6, so the scores weren't massively different to the 8.
If anything, the middle block is actually where we were both different, slightly.
Yeah, I'd say
and
so.
And sort of the top and the bottom, we were near enough the same again, weren't we? So it shows that our perceptions weren't that crazy, really, from there.
I don't think so. I know I threw a curveball in there with View to a Kill, but like...
Can I ask you, Chris, then? So give me your favourite Roger Moore quote out of all of the films.
I wish you'd let me prepare for that, mate.
What is the best line? What is the best line? You can have a second if you wish.
I need a second. You tell me yours,
mate. Just to say, Neil's also saying he can't wait for our next show. So, thanks, Neil. Hit subscribe. Go to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We will come back with a vengeance very shortly. My favourite Roger Moore quote, actually, is, I think it's going to be the line in... There's quite a few. Does
it have to be one that Roger Moore has said, or just favourite line from a Roger Moore movie?
Yeah, go for the line of the movie. It doesn't have to be Roger Moore. Yeah, from a Roger Moore Bond film.
I think iconic-wise, I think his attempting re-entry, sir, is
classic.
Like, I don't think, and the same with keeping the British end up, sir, is that same sort of.
I've got mine actually. It's Octopussy on the hot air balloon, where it's like, you can handle this contraption, Q. It goes by Hot Air 007.
Yeah.
Oh, you can then. That was done quite well for me personally. But yeah, on that basis though, Chris, we've done the ranking and it was fun. We'll definitely be picking up the next segment because we're going to branch into the very short-lived Timothy Dalton run. But what we're going to do is we're going to include a ranking when we get round to it, which incorporates Dalton and Brosnan to give us a good selection of films.
Yeah, 6 movie rank, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Craig was 5, so that's enough to do another ranking as well. But we can't just do 1 and 2. It's not feasible from that point of view, really. So,
can I ask you one question before we go?
You can, mate. Go on.
So, Sean Connery's ranking had 7 Bond movies in it, and this one had 7 Bond movies in it. Which is better?
Which is best, as in just Connery or more, you mean?
Which is the better collection of films? Like, not the Bond. Ignore who the Bond is. Like, we're not saying, is Sean Connery better than Roger Moore? But which I would say there is a real argument that this collection of movies is better than the Sean Connery ones, because
all things added together, more.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Connery movies are great. There's nothing wrong with them.
Like his highs are higher than Roger Moore's highs, but his lows, there are more of them, and they are woefully worse than Man with the Golden Gun or Moonraker.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a fair outcome. And do you know what? I go for about Bond fans, and you guys can know yourself. You're never going to please everybody with your views. We've seen some controversial stuff tonight, and there's a lot more of this to come as we do more and more reviews coming up. Which reminds me to come back next week, because we are literally 6 p.m. next week. We're going to do our live movie review of The Living Daylights, the first Dalton entry. So of course, hit the subscribe button, come back, join us, join the community, and watch all our shows that are going to come up in the next few weeks. We have obviously just branched onto some Apple Music, Amazon, so on. So you can get Spotify platforms and pick us up that way. Listen to your Bond fix anywhere you want to be. But it's just great to see that people are listening and staying in touch with us. So I'm really pleased with that. And Chris, is there anything that you would like to plug before we say goodbye?
I echo your thoughts, mate. If you are listening to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, thank you for doing that. Otherwise, if you're listening to us wherever you find your podcasts, thank you for doing that also. If you weren't aware of one or the other, please go and subscribe to those other platforms. It really help us out.
We should have put them all at the bottom, which one we're on. Should be a little logo.
We'll get to the point where we won't be able to see our faces soon.
Never. There's too much noise on the screen. But yeah, honestly, guys, and there's one more thing just to let you guys know as well. We will be picking up the part 3 and part 4 of First Light, our joint playthrough. So that's coming up very soon. If you've not seen the first 2 parts, go back to the YouTube channel. They're on there. They're in a nice playlist. Enjoy it. There's a lot of banter while we're playing that game. It's fun, isn't it?
It's a good game, isn't it? I enjoy the game.
Yeah. But guys, thank you very, very much for taking time out to see you. And we're sorry we've ruined it once again. But all it remains to be saying is you have been watching the Bondcast.
The Ultimate Bondcast.